little bit about you. Well, you're a very gifted man. Gifted man. So I have a list here. So you draw, you play drums, do many things with your voice, produce, direct, write, because I've seen quite a speeches, acting, dancing, dancing because dancing. Well, I've seen some. You say that you were in an audition, so they ask you to dance. So you got the role, so maybe you dance quite well.
That might have been for comedic effect, unintentionally, but yeah.
What else? Find beautiful place to shoot movies. Beautiful handwriting, as I saw on You and I, My Dear.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know if it's you, but I think it was you writing,
Yeah.
beautiful handwriting as well. So what I want to ask is, how was the path of discovering all these things? I want to go back as, a kid, a teenager who was, well, maybe I can do that for my career. What I'm going to do with that? I'm just entertaining my beloveds. What I'm going to do? I want to know this journey of your, talent.
One of my earliest memories was when I went into kindergarten, primary school at the age of about 5. And when it came time where, we would get to paint, I happened to paint something that for a 5-year-old apparently seemed kind of advanced. So I painted, I have Egyptian heritage. My father's from Cairo. And so I grew up with the kids like from 1st grade through 5th grade would go to take like art class and have different, there was like the section where all the different subjects were taught, and whereas kindergarten you just stayed in one room the whole day. And then when you went to 1st grade you went to different subjects, and she took me to the art teacher of the school. And for me that was like the biggest honor, like a huge moment in my life. It obviously left an impression on me, getting to meet the art teacher of the school, and she showed him my picture and she said, "Doesn't that look, it looks like a camel, it's really good." And he's like, "That is very good." And so I guess I knew at that point that I had gifts that were different from other people my age, and in my case it was with painting and drawing, and so it started there. And I just really focused on it throughout school, and it kind of bled into other things, and I discovered music pretty early, and I started taking lessons in school for drums when I was about 11, and I found that I could play the drums, and as I got into high school, those were the two things that I focused on, was art and music. For me, it was also, I think, a way to kind of channel my energies and channel my awkwardness and social anxieties into the things that God, gifted me with. And I think actually in high school I was voted most artistic, and which is really interesting to me, that because when you see the yearbooks, and you're like, oh, most likely to succeed, most likely to do this, prom king and queen or whatever, most artistic. You don't know how that's going to translate as an adult, but it turned out to be prophetic enough that it's just how I make my living now as an artist. And I feel like having that facility, it's like I think God gave me more talents than I deserve, because I think He knew that I wasn't going to pursue some of them professionally. I wasn't going to necessarily, in my younger life, even think to use them to glorify God. And so when it came time to choosing what I was going to study in college, I went to a school where I could study film, but I could also take art classes and kind of keep that going, but not professionally, for myself, just to kind of keep it to myself. It's like I'm reminded of the parable about the man the man that buries the talent. One guy's given 5 talents, he goes, invests it, he makes another 5. One guy makes 10 talents, he invests it, he gets 10 back. And then one guy has 1 talent, and he he doesn't want to risk it, so he buries it, and then he's the one that gets in trouble at the end of the parable, saying, "What did you do? You didn't even put the talent in the bank so I can get interest on that." So I buried art professionally. I buried music professionally. I tried a little bit, but I didn't feel like that was what I was going to do for a living. So I just kind of buried that. And when I realized later on, when I was now working, making a stable professional living behind the scenes as a location manager, God gave me signs that, like, no, I've given you these artistic gifts for a reason. And so when it came to that third gift of acting as being something that he, even against my expectations, showed me that I could do and I could be successful at, even in little pieces, I thought, well, I've already said no to these two other gifts. I can't turn them down 3 times. I must be meant to do something with this talent. And so I started the very long 20-year road to success of trying to make eventually a living as an actor and use